In this episode, we head to Race Retro for the Paddock Speedshop press conference and the unveiling of their latest race car. Rob Janer discusses some of the aftermarket parts used in F1 from our recent Silverstone bonus episode. And we also have a feature from Hella about Megamax, the next chapter of the brake engineering documentary with Tim Shaw, a chat with School of Thought about their new Springboard initiative, and a quick demo of how Complete Diagnostics applies speed limiters remotely with their coding tool. First up, we have Paddock Speedshop.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddock Speedshop first press conference. Wow, interrogation ready.
Thank you. I was trying to ask, it's been a long 4 years for you, people constantly asking when the car's going to be finished. I want to know, why are you doing this?
Honestly, this all came about because I was driving my car in Canterbury. I went to university. I was driving my friends around the ring road, and they were so enthralled in this moment. I drove an MGB. I learned to drive in it when I was 17. It's 1973, blaze orange, gorgeous car. And I was taking them around the ring road, and they were just like, I want to do this. I want to experience this. And I said, well, you can. It just didn't click to them that it was open. The world's open to them. Just go and buy a classic car, get involved in this world. And we just thought we needed to come up with a way of giving people a push. And that's what this is all about. It's about showing people that it doesn't matter where you are, where you're from, what your class sits at. There's a classic car for you, and it can either bring you to the road or it can bring you to the racetrack.
Lucy, you've been using the event at these stages to learn how to navigate. Are you not tempted to get behind the wheel yourself?
Probably not, if I'm completely honest. I've grown up watching motorsport and marshalling motorsport, and the voluntary side of it with marshalling and everything is what got me into it, and that's the side of it I enjoy. I enjoy the team, everybody doing it together. Not quite sure I'd like the pressure that Harvey gets, to be honest, so I'll sit next to him and I'll help him along the way, but other than that, no, I don't think so.
Clearly, looking at that board behind you, the industry has given you a lot of support. The new premises and the fleet of cars that you've got, surely you've got a lot of support from them and indebted to those guys?
Certainly, since the conception of the show, when we were in our small, humble building, the support from the industry has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I think it's certainly clear that everybody in the industry sees the need for the next generation to get in, and they see our project here as a brilliant way of doing it. The difference is we're very much used to preaching to the choir at this point. Everybody here in this room has a vested interest in perpetuating this industry, but our show, what we're doing is aimed at 16, 17-year-olds that may not be interested in classics, that want to take that jump, and that's what we want to show them. The building's been a fantastic growth for us. It's been a bit of a distraction. It's slowed us down, but all good moves will do that. And we've got fantastic plans for the future. We want to build a hub, a destination where young drivers, experienced drivers, that's my nice way of saying older, can come and enjoy classic cars, enjoy some nice coffee, and see us in action.
Ben, Garage Talk.
You've come here today with the Mini. Do you intend to go into Classic Rally more permanently?
It's an area I personally would definitely like to be involved in. Whether it's actually doing the rally, something we'll as a team do permanently or not, I would always like to be involved in, obviously, the marshalling side of stuff. Just, I enjoy being around the cars, that's what got me into it. But I don't know about you, Harv, I've got a feeling you're going to want to take it a bit further.
Yeah, I've not really tried anything on gravel or loose terrain yet, but I quite enjoy the wet, so I assume sliding around on the gravel will be similar. So we'll see after this weekend whether I want to keep at it, but I'm sure I will.
It's a genuine Cooper S. Did it come to you as a road car?
No, it really didn't. It came to us it was a race prepped, it was a track racing, wasn't it? Yeah. And then, well, that's your story from there onwards.
Oh God, the poor thing looked like it had been dragged backwards through a hedge and been left there for 10 years, and yeah, it wasn't very happy. Lots and lots and lots of prep went into making that car look the way that it does. Once again, ask that poor man sat on the front. 150 hours went into the paint job on that Mini, and then I don't even know how many hours went into the rest of the work we did to it, but it has been a labour of love, and it looks nothing like it did when it came to us.
Yeah, the car was respec'd to do stage rally. Of course, it was important for us with the builds, the main show cars, the MGB, the Morris, the Aston Martin, the Mini, Mayfair. It was important we had something that our sponsors could use at shows and events. So HB Body helped Steve and Lucy. They put a fantastic coat of paint on it. then Ben and I respect it to do these stage rallies, lifted it, we've set up a dual control system that's in progress inside, and Harvey's now going to knock all the paint off. Sorry, Steve, but it's not going to look so pretty.
It's an absolute stunner. So now will probably be a good time to introduce the other members on the panel, joining Lucy, Harvey and Ethan. We've got Simon from Motul and Suresh from Sustain. Guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
Why are you guys helping and pushing the next generation?
Well, from a Motul perspective, the next generation is something that Motul is actively involved with on a global basis. Motul Corazon is a scheme set up and a foundation set up to help young people and the next generation into the automotive industry in all its various forms. And the company is proud of its history of innovation, and to be able to lead the way on something like this and to tie it in with Paddock Speedshop, which is all about bringing people into the industry at a young age, because without them it would die, quite frankly. So we're delighted to be able to support Paddock Speedshop in what it's trying to do.
That's fantastic. And Suresh, like, the future is sustainable fuel, synthetic fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no shadow of a doubt, I think, as the industry is now becoming aware that sustainable liquid fuels are a significant part of the future of the automotive industry, whether that's racing, whether that's classic, whether that's modern. So clearly, yeah, a pleasure to be working with Paddock Speedshop and propounding really the very ethos of what they stand for, which is keeping this sector of the industry alive and going in the future. There are big question marks, obviously, given the fact that the primary fuel that we've been using for the last 100 odd years is not exactly environmentally friendly, so we've had to change that up. So yes, I think it aligns perfectly with what they stand for, and that really aligns with what our vision is and why we're pushing this forward for the future of the industry.
So this is actually for Lucy. Lucy, respectfully, how are you qualified to carry out these builds, let alone be an authority on them?
Respectfully, if someone like preempted you about me. No, we're not qualified, but have a look at the cars, see what you think. If you think there's a problem with them, please come and tell us, educate us. That's the point. We're learning, we're at events and weekends and shows with hundreds of people who have my lifetime and Ethan's lifetime put together of experience. We want that experience, we want that knowledge, we don't want that to get lost. So don't tell us we're doing it wrong. Come and tell us how to do it properly. We're here to learn, that's the point. We're not qualified, but most people out there probably also aren't qualified. And we're here because we love it. And I think sometimes passion beats qualification.
It seems like you're off to a good start, but what does the future hold?
Well, that's the real icing on the cake of bringing you all together today. I suppose you better unveil and start it up. This season, this year, and into the future, we'll be racing this. This is a Marcus 1800 GT, completely rebuilt, practically brand new. I don't even think you've properly sat in it yet, but you're now going to properly sit in it. We'll fire it up and we'll roll it outside.
So 2025, Harvey, it's been a couple of years since we've seen you.
Yeah.
How are things? You've got quite a few interesting stories about how your racing career's going.
Yeah, really good. So it's been quieter on the racing front, but normal life's good, full-time work's good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out in this, obviously, in the new year. So yeah, really good. What about you?
Yeah, things are good, thanks Harvey, really good. And obviously we've covered your story, been to your factory, fantastic. Saw Ethan at Autosport recently.
Nice.
He talks through the three cars, you've now got the new car.
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to in this?
I just can't wait to get out in it, really. It's completely new to me. It's a lot lighter than the Cobra.
Yeah.
It's obviously completely different to the 356 that I had a small stint in. Completely different to the C1. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's quite light, a lot lower power than the Cobra, but because of the the weight difference, it might make a huge difference.
And where's it going to take your racing?
We're not sure which category we're going to stick to, but we're just going to do a lot. We know we're going to do a lot. It would be really nice to get out to Silverstone Festival for me, because
yeah,
my first big event. and I just really enjoy it. It's a great atmosphere and such. So.
And how far up the grid's it going to take you?
Oh, we'll see when we start going, but I think it could be competitive within its class. So we could be really good. I'm really looking forward to getting out in it.
And how do you feel your career's going? Because obviously the cars are great, but obviously you're progressing. Where do you feel you're at the moment, and where you're trying to push forward to?
Really good. Towards the end of last year, we had our only race of the season of 2024. We were going really well. It was the first time I'd kind of said to myself, right, there's no pressure, I'll just kind of go for it and do some proper racing, pretty much. And it was in the C1, and I was going really well. It was raining, I quite like the wet. I feel like it levels the playing field a little bit from all the experienced drivers that I'm up against. So, and I was going really, really well. I got fastest lap of the race. I was really happy. I was coming up through the pack. I started about 21st because I didn't quite get qualifying time in. I came into the pits because I think I could hear flapping that I was paranoid about. But and then going into Paddock Hill on the final corner, my front left wheel came off.
Oh no.
So it brought an unexpected end to that kind of campaign up the pack. But I was really enjoying it up to then, and it's given me a lot of confidence, really, because it's the first time I've kind of taken the straps off and really given it some welly.
Interesting you see it's character building, and you don't see it as a negative, because we're all going through that, aren't you, on the racing circuit? There's no way around that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got to expect it. You know, racing is racing. You don't finish every single race, whether it's because of something you've done, because something's just gone wrong on the car.
Yeah.
I mean, it was no one's fault with the C1. It just kind of, the lugs just failed and the wheel came off. But yeah, it's all learning, and I really enjoyed it. Even still, I left with a smile because I'd made a huge progress for myself.
And where do you feel, obviously last time we spoke to you a couple of years ago, where do you feel, how far forward have you come? Because obviously listening to you there, that's quite an experience that you've been through.
Yeah, I think quite a long way. When I first spoke to you, I'd not really done any circuit work. I'd done a track day here and there, but I hadn't done a full season of racing. And then, that for me, that final outing in the C1 that I did was a huge leap for me, because it was just race to go for it and win and go as quick as you can, rather than the stress of when I was in the C1 the first time. I just had to finish every race, otherwise I couldn't do the festival because of the licensing issues and stuff. But no, I think the confidence I've got from going out the C1, really just doing it for fun, doing it for me, was really good fun. I think the team saw it as well. It was a huge confidence boost for everyone to see that we can be really competitive.
And obviously, you've done this, it's fair to say, on a cheap budget compared to a lot of other people. Today you told us about the way you practice.
Yeah.
So it's quite a unique way, but it's become more popular. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've got a Fanatec direct drive sim set up at home, and I pretty much do all of my practice on that. You can't always get the exact car, so I don't know if there's a mod available for a Marcus.
You can have a good look though, aren't you?
Yeah, I've not found one, so I go on iRacing and I find things like the small power formula cars. They move around in a very similar way, so I just try and find something that I can directly compare to what I've done and what I think I will do, and I just spend the hours on that. And it's really good for kind of racecraft almost, because these days sim racing has become such a big thing that the people that you're racing against are really good. So you can sort of compare it to real racing because it's very close. There's a lot of respect in it as well. It's like, so yeah, you can kind of use it to predict what people are going to do, what people drive like, how close you can push it, and stuff like that. And then the basic skills like catching oversteer and things like that, you can kind of hone in or, keep the embers hot by doing it in sim racing in the off season, when I can't go out to a test session.
So it's not a game?
No, not for me. No. I take it very seriously, and people take the mick, but it's my way of practice. I can't go to a test day all the time. It's ludicrously expensive.
And do you think, obviously, Paddock Speedshop is based on youth?
Yeah.
Do you think more and more youngsters should be looking at things like this and should be trying to grow?
Yeah, definitely. I've got someone in my college class, I do an apprenticeship, who was asking me about getting a sim because he's dabbled in racing a little bit. And I said to him, 100%. I mean, it's never going to be like you're on a circuit because you are in, your bedroom or an office. But it really, for me, definitely, it really helps because it's what I started off with. I didn't grow up in kart championships and stuff like that. I did a lot of karting, but I kind of went with my dad, and then I just went on my own to rental karting things. But for me, the sim and learning the circuits especially, it's like
why on earth wouldn't you? I mean, you can enter it at a fairly budget scale as well.
Yeah.
And it's nowhere near as realistic, don't get me wrong, but you can still learn the circuits, which is crucial because you're up against people that have been racing for longer than I've even been alive. You need to find every benefit you can.
Yeah, no, everybody's got a rich benefactor. And you rightly said you wouldn't be where you are today without that simulator, so I think it's quite an important part of your...
Yeah, definitely. I really value it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Harvey. Thank you.
That's all right. Thank you.
For tools and machinery, come to Machine Mart. Experts in our 65 superstores help you choose from the vast range, including air compressors, tool chests, stoves, welders, generators, water pumps, heaters, power tools, and much, much more. Or just order by phone or online. Look out for our money-saving special offers. Our free catalogue contains hundreds of price cuts and great new products. Or visit our website with thousands more specialist products in Machine Mart Extra. Shop in-store, online, or call.
You've brought us these fantastic tyres, and I know we've got a little bit of an exclusive on this one, so we'll leave that one till last. But let's start with these. They're Lewis Hamilton.
They are
wheels.
these two here are Lewis Hamilton wheel rims. The tyres are just different examples. So we try and bring items in for young people to kind of get a touch, handle, feel, and actually just see the size of them. Because just standing next to them, you can see they're quite a bit bigger than what you normally use on your road car.
They are I don't use this size.
Quite a bit bigger. So we start with these ones here. These are kind of the older iterations, the older specs. The slick tyres, we talk to young people even just about the simplicity of the way friction works, where we kind of rub the top surface of the tyre against the track to create a really warm, sticky goo, so we get lots and lots of traction around the track. We talk about the amount of water. These tyres will lift 80 litres a second potentially on a really wet day. It's outstanding how much water these can lift.
I think one thing that I noticed with the wets is, and we've seen some downpours recently, I think Brazil, China have been two recent ones, they're never too worried. They do cancel some of the race, obviously, if they're, but at times they're like, it's a shower, it's going to pass, and then they're almost confident in the tyres that they're going to lift that water.
Absolutely. These wets for really, really wet weather conditions are outstanding. And it's not just the tyre, it's the way the air interacts with the car. So with the downforce going over the top of the car and the tunnels underneath the car creating, that real suction effect, what that's doing is it's pulling the car into the ground so much that these give so much grip. Actually, it's pretty safe to run nowadays. We do have an intermediate tyre. It's a stage in between the two. Yeah. And actually that tends to be the preferred one. Unless it gets really wet, then they'll move to this one. But, with Formula One cars, they're so complex. There's so much else going on with them that whilst the tyres are incredibly important, you've got all those other things that are aiding the driver in keeping the car stable. The problem is when they hit the cliff and fall off, as you often hear the commentators talk about, particularly with some of these slick tyres. There is a lifespan from them, and it ranges depending on whether we've got the hard, soft, or your hard or your soft or your medium tyre. And that cliff can vary between different circuits because the compound will move between different circuits.
Yes, I think what some people don't realise that sometimes the hard tyre at the next venue is the soft tyre.
Absolutely, yes. You have a scope of 5 and it's positioned within the 3, but it does make it a bit easier. When we're in the days of having 7 different, the hyper softs and all that, almost like chewing gum after a lap. But those kind of things we've moved away from.
One thing I want to ask you, Rob, and this is obviously a personal opinion of yours, tyres sometimes get a bad rep from the drivers. They're the easiest thing to blame, aren't they?
They are, and also because Pirelli are a separate company than the team, you're blaming a third party rather than blaming the team, although Pirelli do an amazing job.
I was going to say it's harsh at times.
It is, and it's an easy scope to blame. And there have been some issues. I remember here a number of years ago when all the tyres were falling apart. That was actually down to the teams, though, most of the time, because they were underfilling them because you want as lower pressure as you can get. And what that was happening is the sidewall of the tyre was basically collapsing, not able to cope with the pressures that the tyre was under. Now there are very strict regulations about how much air pressure you have in the car tyre and the way in which the teams use it, and they're monitored very, very carefully. These are the new tyres. These ones came in 2022, the wheel rim size. And the big difference is you've gone from this 13-inch wheel rim to these rather large 18-inch. I'm going to get you to pick them up in a minute and feel the weight difference of the two, because these are so much heavier. It's part of the reason why Formula One teams are now moaning about the fact the cars are at their heaviest they've ever been. The wheels now, these used to be, back in this era, teams were developing the wheels with particular companies. Now it's a stock, one set, wheel comes from one component. What that's done is it's leveled the playing field a bit more. It helps with the cost cap. It means teams haven't got to keep developing and moving technology on. But essentially, the tyres still work in the same way. You still have to warm that tyre top surface. You still have to work the tyre. And then there's that skill of being able to not use up all the goodness of the rubber, which drivers like Lewis Hamilton have certainly perfected over the years, and others maybe struggled with a bit more, and maybe you're a bit more over exuberant with the cars, and it's where also some teams have perfected it. So some teams are much softer on their cars. They're much they can preserve the tyres with the way in which the car works. Something like Red Bull, for example, incredibly quick, but sometimes been criticised for using the tyres a little bit too much. But again, that's where drivers have got to use their expertise in managing that, and engineering comes in as well. Now, one thing Pirelli won't do is tell you how they've changed.
Obviously, we can see a noticeable difference from 3 years ago to today.
Yeah.
But this is 2025 tyre. What's the difference to the 2024 tyre that you can see?
Well, very little. The one thing that is different, though, in between the two is the weight difference between the two. It is stark. And this is the bit I did say I was going to get you to this. You pick that one up, right? Now, it's difficult to do this on camera, I know. But I want you to pick that one up now. Just pick that one up. And,
oh, my God.
It's night
massive
and day difference, isn't it?
Absolutely huge difference.
This is why the F1 cars have become so heavy now. Now, I know we talk about just under 800 kilos. If that was a road car, that's not very heavy at all. But in Formula One terms, this is very, very heavy.
Now, this is a unique engine. 1 year of F1. Can anybody guess what team that was? And they produced a world champion.
Is this where we say answers on a postcard? Is this that moment?
Down in the comments.
Absolutely.
But Jensen Buttons here.
Yeah, so this engine is a Mercedes engine that was used in 2009. Now, Mercedes, before they became the Formula One powerhouse that we know today, were, pardon the pun, the engine manufacturer. They were the power supplier for a number of teams across the F1 grid. Teams that are now no longer with us, Force India, people like that, and Brawn, another one. And they provided these engines, and they built everything from V10 and V8 engines. And they still supply engines to their other teams on the grid today, currently. This one, though, is quite special because this is the 2009 one, and this is one of the engines that was supplied to the Brawn Formula One team. These engines, incredibly lightweight in comparison to your normal road car engine. You've got a 3-litre V8 engine, about 820 brake horsepower at about 17,800 RPM.
We now come to the real nitty-gritty of vehicles, the bits that...
Some of the smaller components that people don't necessarily always see.
Yes.
First thing I've got for you, take a look at those. So these are brake discs. Have a guess.
That's F1.
That's F1. How much? This is a Formula 3 car. I know we can't show the viewers, let them feel the weight, but what is the difference in the weight?
It's massive. And the question I would ask then, of course, and it's going to be the obvious question, is how safe is something that light?
Very safe, if you only keep it within its lifespan. So these brakes, and these ones in fairness as well, they have a relatively limited lifespan in comparison to a road brake disc. These carbon ones operate at 800 degrees centigrade. They only work though when they're incredibly hot. That's why you have the big ducts getting air through them and everything. We use that heat that's generated to create that massive stopping power. However, they have a very, very short lifespan. You know, you're really using those 1 or 2 sessions, and then we're swapping them over. Again, these brakes are changed quite regularly, but they have a much longer lifespan. Yeah. Other components, and this one is a bit weird, and don't get frightened when I hold this one up. I'm not going to get into some kind of bizarre pub fight. This is one of the components of a Formula 1 car that undergoes more stress than any other. Do you know what it is?
Drive shaft.
It is, well done. Very few people get this. It's a drive shaft. So you've got your differential and your gearbox one end, your wheel on the other, and this is rotating at massive speed, getting 1,000 brake horsepower down onto the circuit. This is a Mercedes Formula 1 drive shaft. A really high tensile steel, undergone numerous processes to make sure that this is not only manufactured in the right way, in the correct way, but also doesn't lose any of its integrity. Right, do you want to have a quick look at something that something I bet you weren't going to think you were going to be looking at today. So this is one of our F1 pedals.
Yes, it's well,
there's nothing.
Catch with this.
Yeah, there's nothing to it, is there?
No.
Nothing to it. So it's designed around keeping the driver's feet in position. Normally in a Formula 1 car, you would only have 2 pedals, brake and accelerator, because the clutch is done through the steering wheel and the components like that. So you just have these, but there is nothing to it. We're trying to keep the weight down. Now, a component like that will see out the life of a race season, hopefully, unless there's been some kind of impact where there'd be some kind of break or fracture. But yeah, again, cleverly designed, ridiculously lightweight, isn't it?
Because it's driving other components, isn't it? So there's no point in it.
Yeah, it's literally that. And then the other piece, and again, you thought that was light. So I've got here Max Verstappen rear wing end plate, Red Bull rear wing end plate, Formula 1 piece. Before we talk about it, just take hold of that. Just nothing to it, is there? Nothing to it. Now, a couple of bits I want to show you. I don't know if we can get the camera on close on this. You've got different types of carbon fibre in here. So if you imagine the wing would sit upright like that, and the top layer of the wing sits across here. Yeah. If you look at the weave of the carbon at the top there is a really tight weave, where the pressure of the wing would be. And then in the middle, which is essentially just holding the advertising stickers on, you've got a much more open, squared carbon weave. And the reason we do that is this carbon is fractionally lighter than this carbon here. So we're able to not use the high pressure carbon at this point down to the more open weave. It's levels of detail that they go into in here that's amazing. Other little bits of detail, where your DRS flap and actuator sits here.
The DRS.
Can you see the little titanium inserts?
Yeah.
To provide extra bit of strength on some of these bolts here. It's an absolute, I mean, it's a simple thing, but it is a thing of beauty. And the way in which it's been made, designed, processed, it's great.
Open up the DRS, as they say.
Absolutely.
Well, I've got nothing but thanks for the insight into the parts. I know we're going to have a look at your museum now.
We're going to go have a look at some cars.
But I think this is the key for our audience. I think the fact that so much goes into it, and this is a very small selection of parts.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there are, I think the estimate is about 16,000. If you take every nut and bolt component in a Formula 1 car, there's loads. But it's a pleasure showing you some of this. It's the kind of bits that people don't always get a chance to see.
Well, we'll come back for the other 15,863.
Think a tool that handles advanced diagnostics on the latest vehicles has to be big, complicated and expensive? And think again. This is the Mega Max S20, which can convert any Android device into a fully blown diagnostic tool incorporating with DOIP, CAN-FD and cybersecurity. It's a powerful combination of affordability, efficiency and cutting-edge technology. Supplied with a state-of-the-art rugged Android tablet, this tool covers everything from basic to advanced diagnostics. To get started, you simply plug in the VCI into the OBD of the vehicle and you can connect to your Android device via Bluetooth or USB-C connection. Previously only available on flagship devices, Hella Gutmann's smart diagnostic interface ensures maximum clarity and a quick, intuitive process which incorporates DOIP and CAN-FD. Once I'm in the vehicle, you get a few warnings. So one, you've got that this is an electric vehicle. This is really key because you want to make sure that you are suitably qualified to be working on this vehicle safely. As we scroll down, then you've got some more information. This is key. Before we even start doing any work on the car, it's telling me about cybersecurity. You'll get the prompt to register for cybersecurity via the web link and the QR code. We'll show you how to do that in the next video. It means that the Megamax S20 can also unlock cybersecurity access within a fraction of a second. With BMW and Nissan recently added, the S20 now supports cybersecurity access for more than 20 vehicle manufacturers. The diagnostic software covers functions like reading and clearing error codes, actuators, live data, and basic settings. You can also add access to HCS data. This gives technical information about the vehicle being diagnosed. The Megamax S20 gives you everything you need to keep your garage running smoothly and future ready. For a limited time only, you can get it for just £2,150 plus VAT, which incorporates 2 years software updates. Head over to Hella Tech World or contact us via email to find out more. Don't forget to follow us on our socials to stay updated with the latest technology from Hella Gutmann.
For tools and machinery, come to Machine Mart. Experts in our 65 superstores help you choose from the vast range, including air compressors, tool chests, stoves, welders, generators, water pumps, heaters, power tools, and much, much more. Or just order by phone or online. Look out for our money-saving special offers. Our free catalogue contains hundreds of price cuts and great new products. Or visit our website with thousands more specialist products in Machine Mart Extra. Shop in-store, online, or call.
We have no idea what's going in the boxes that are coming from China. There's no government legislation to tell us what the casting is made of.
But the bit that actually does the work?
We have nothing in the UK at the moment.
So therefore reusing the original gear that was made by, in that case, Ford, is the way to go.
Hi Matt, you okay? Matt, you met this man?
Hello mate, how you doing? You all right? Nice to meet you.
So this has come in, we want to have a look at it. So if we can start stripping it, we can inspect it as we go in. I also want to go through what we keep and what we don't keep, please.
Okay. Right, stripping time. So this is Matt, and we're going to tear this thing to pieces, right? Okay. This is one of two. It's actually leaking.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So the first thing is what? The piston's being wound out there. So let's just go basics on the piston's job is to create pressure to squeeze the pads against the disc and then slow your car down.
So every caliper we make, so of the 600,000-700,000 we'll make this year, we 100% put a brand new piston in.
Right, okay.
Because, yeah, everything, we don't know whether it's worn, whether it's damaged, so we put 100% new pistons in it and rubber components, which you'll see.
Can I have a look at that? Okay, so that is the piston.
Yeah.
So it's this section around the outside.
Yeah, so it's this
seals.
where it'll move up and down on the seals.
Right. So when you apply pressure with brake fluid to the back of that...
Yeah, the push rod will push it out.
Yeah.
It'll turn and it'll then go against the pads and then against
your
the
car.
disc.
Okay. So you're telling me that you're not going to reuse that?
No, we're not going to use that. It's a worn part.
Right, because it's a moving part.
Because it's a moving part. So for us,
right.
we wouldn't take the risk of using that again.
Okay, so microscopically you can't see it, but there'll be wear on that.
Exactly.
So wear on the side of there, that for that reason, that goes back in the bin.
That goes back into the bin.
With the Chinese one.
With the Chinese one you threw in there as well. Yeah.
All right, so that's scrap, right.
Okay.
What else, what do we keep of what we got here?
So obviously we will inspect the casting to make sure there's no major damage. All rubber components will be thrown away.
Yeah.
So again, they'll go into the same bin.
What is the point of that? What does that thing actually do?
That is saving any debris getting into the piston.
Okay.
And then marking obviously where it's and then potentially it'll damage the seal and the seal will make it fail.
Right. Okay. Okay. Sorry, Matt. You carry on, mate.
So again, the main seal we'll throw away. We won't even look at that.
Is that caliper this caliper?
That caliper is that caliper. So every caliper we've got in our range, which is over 7,000, we all have a picture with work instructions on it.
Right, so these guys here can refer to that as this is how it's supposed to be. Wow,
the last thing I want to do is send the wrong caliper to the customer.
I cannot wait to see that old banger look like that.
It will do, trust me.
No way. As far as I was aware though, like most other companies that do what you do, they usually go again with the piston.
Yeah, there is companies that will reuse that piston, but again, the nature of the product, what it does, we don't take any risk with ZF.
Okay, that's really interesting. Yeah, absolutely. You've got ZF breathing down your back.
Exactly. And it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely, yeah, okay. So in other words, so what we've learned from this stripping stage here, and what's coming out here then,
Second circlip.
Second circlip that holds the bottom push rod in.
I've never actually seen, it sounds ridiculous here, because brakes being remanufactured or refreshed is the kind of stuff you don't ever usually get to see inside of.
Yep.
But I'm seeing there's a helical. Hang on, what's that?
That's the push rod. That's what makes the piston work. Okay, that'll have a seal there. Again, we'll inspect the push rod, we'll throw the seal away, inspect and clean all these components.
Right, so you've got a helical coil on there, there's an Archimedes thread on that.
Yep.
So what I don't understand here then is how the fluid is turning the pressure of fluid into, I just figured it was the pressure on the back of this, but what's the point of that?
So that allows the piston to move up and down.
Okay.
So when the brake pipe is moving the lever's moving, and it's moving the piston.
Oh, okay, okay, so the piston rotates?
Yes.
Right, okay, right. So from inspection of what I've delivered here, have you managed to spot anything yet that is the reason you're thinking this is leaking?
Not yet, no. Potentially what we look at to see if there's any wear in this area.
Yeah.
Wear on there. We also look at the inlets, is also something potentially, but that thread looks, by eye, looks okay.
Yeah.
And we also look at the bleed screw thread.
Right, okay, right. I'm fascinated that you actually remake these, because to me, I would be doing an inspection of the outer surface of that and go, oh, that looks all right, we'll go again with that.
We make them ourselves here on site. We can show you that.
Can we see that?
Yeah.
Right, come on, let's have a look.
So, this is our 4-axis CNC machine where we make some of our pistons.
I guarantee this is going to be your favourite part of the process. What are we doing here?
So, as we said, we make our own pistons on site.
Yep.
So, starts its life like that.
Look at that.
And it finishes its life like that.
Right. Feast your eyes on that. That is just a thing of beauty. That is something that, in fact, if I owned that, I don't even have a desk. I haven't even got an office. If I had an office and a desk, I'd own that and stick it on there, use it as a paperweight. So that is a piston, similar to the one that we pulled out over there, that's machined on this machine here.
Exactly.
What's that going in?
So that's going in at one of our calipers.
No, it's not. It's going in my pocket. Right, come on, show me how this thing works.
So, as we said, 4-axis machine, making the pistons, machining it as we speak. One's just finishing now.
Oh, dude, I love.
As we can see that coming off.
I don't know about you, but I absolutely love CNC machines. The fact that you can chuck in an old knackered looking piece of steel.
And it comes out looking
like that thing in my pocket that's not coming out of my pocket ever again until I get home.
We'll charge you for it.
That in my pocket means I need to go and get myself an office and a desk now.
Exactly.
Yeah. But nobody takes me seriously. It's never going to happen.
Possibly. That's why you need a desk.
Yeah. Oh, look at this thing here. You can just see it's just chowing its way. It's just chomping its way through that steel.
Very clever, isn't it?
Right, and it's working on it from both sides then. So this is a 4-axis machine that's actually kind of making two things at the same time.
Yes, that's right.
That is an amazing thing. So the tolerances this is made to, what we're looking at here.
So everything we work to is OE spec.
Right.
So ZF, OE spec is what we work to.
So OE, original equipment. So the quality, and I'll show you one more time, but it is going back in my pocket. So the tolerances of that
are exactly the same what's coming out of the original equipment caliper.
Right, so that is the same as came out of Ford, but without any wear on it.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
And it's been made today.
Where are they coming out? Can we see on the other end? Yeah, check this out.
So you can see it's there ready, finished.
No way. And there it is.
So
That was warm. It's
Still
lovely
warm,
that is.
especially.
Mate, it's retaining all that heat. And that is the other one, the matching one for the back.
Yep.
So what's next in the remanufacturing of calipers?
So the next process is cleaning the caliper.
Okay, I'll just put that one back.
Yeah, you
in
put
my
that
pocket.
one back.
Oh wow. What's this place
So
then?
this is a cleaning process, stripping process and inspection process.
Right,
ready.
cleaning. So in other words, if you've got some old calipers at home, this is where they come to get stripped down and cleaned up.
This is the first part of the process.
Okay. There's a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of noise going on here, but still, get your eyes around these bad boys. So what are we looking at here?
So what we've got here is two what we call degreasing machines.
Yep.
So they degrease the calipers.
Okay.
So they're ready then to go through our bigger H blaster.
So these are how they've come off your car in effect?
So these are basically how they come off your
Years
car.
of road grease and brake dust and all sorts of stuff.
So being stripped by the guys.
Yep.
Once they've been through a 20-minute cycle, they come out looking like that.
I'll tell you what's really interesting about this is, you know how grease and road fill, I mean, it looks horrific there, but it's actually protecting your caliper.
Exactly.
I mean, look at that. So that's degreased, and yes, there's been some surface for us that's removed from that, but it's actually in remarkably good condition, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So what's next after this then? So we've now degreased them.
So we degreased them.
Okay, come on. Follow me around here then.
So we've got some aluminium there.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at the size of that. That is a monster. What the hell is that caliper off?
Off a BMW.
Is it a
Probably a 5 Series or something.
No
like
way, right, so a BMW caliper, single pot caliper, aluminium very light. What happens to aluminium next? Is that done?
Sorry?
Is that done at that?
No, we'll go put a different shop machine.
Okay.
Just to finish it off to make sure it's clean.
Lovely looking thing that.
Thank you.
Right, so that's the alley, and now steel. Okay.
So what the guys are doing here, inspecting to make sure the casting's good.
Yep.
Goes through the H blaster.
Okay. So I'm just going to have a little look at one of these. So this is interesting. So that is degreased, but now it's all about getting rid of any surface rust. As soon as you touch anything steel, literally even the oils and the moisture on your hand means it starts rusting, right? Hence why these guys on the finish line, you'll see them wearing rubber gloves, right? So that goes in for a removal. There you go. Thank you. A removal of any surface rust, even stuff that you cannot even see. But when it comes out,
it looks like that.
There you go. Look at that. And that's a Volkswagen Audi Group 1.
Yeah.
That's lovely and warm, isn't it? I mean, that colour as well, I don't know if you can see, that's got a sort of titanium feel to it. But what's the next thing for that?
So what we do now, we go off site to be galvanised plated.
Right.
And that just basically protects the casting in the position of the car.
Right, so what's next for us, considering we've got all these parts to do? Is it assembly?
Fun bit now, putting it all back together.
Sweet. And I would fit that in my pocket if I could. But
I know, but you can't.
I've got an Audi, I've got a car that would fit, actually.
Julie from School of Thought, you've got a new initiative coming to the market. Tell us about it.
Okay, it's called Springboard, and it's an advisory board made up of young people aged between 16 and 24 who are going to help shape the direction and the growth of School of Thought. The idea is to have sort of some new energy, some innovation injected into School of Thought, and these young people will help look at our marketing materials, our website, how we interact with young people, the language that we use, and the materials that we use as well.
I think the biggest thing from what we spoke about today is that you're going to be talking to the younger generation through the younger generation. That's a big part of this, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's something that we are really keen to do because obviously we're all getting older and we're not relatable to young people as what we were maybe 10, 15 years ago. So getting young people to spearhead School of Thought and be at the forefront is absolutely crucial.
And of course, you're going to be on all their platforms, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, we're on Instagram now, but we obviously know we need to do things differently and, you know, a lot better. On TikTok a little bit, but it's going to be a big learning curve for us as well.
So it's going to be really enjoyable, isn't it? Because that's the thing with kids, is they need to enjoy our industry as well, don't they?
You know, young people need to be sort of excited, and that's why we're selecting these young people, because they've got passion. And it might not be passion about automotive just yet, but they've got passion about certain things that they're really good at, something like it might be a hobby, or it might be something like social media that they're really good at, or even playing games, as in virtual games. All these things are great in automotive and all things that can help School of Thought as well.
I think that's a big thing from what you just said, isn't it? Is the fact that automotive is not just spanner turning, although we need the mechanics to come through, but there's also many other roles in the industry as well.
I started off in automotive myself, doing health and safety, and I evolved into operations, looking after the call centre, looking after engineering units, running body shops. So we've all got to start somewhere, and the good thing about automotive is wherever you start is not where you're going to end up, and there's lots of different opportunities in all facets of automotive and within the same company and beyond.
Your good self's been in the industry, many accolades in the industry, well known. So there's nobody better to learn off than your good self.
Oh, well, thank you. It's very kind for you to say that. I started off in the early 2000s in the body shop industry, and I was the first female to win the prestigious ABP Night of Nights award. And as a result of that, it sort of kind of springboarded me, shall we say, into different opportunities, and I was the chair for the National Association of Body Shops for a while, which is now the MBRA. So it got me onto panels and working groups. So just a bit of recognition got me sort of, you know, into many different arenas of sort of the automotive industry.
And why do you want to pass that on to the younger generation? Where is the issues?
I think a lot of young people don't get the breaks. They don't have the confidence. They haven't got that direction and guidance that you can do from sort of like careers advisors, for example, at schools. So I think it's important that young people get involved as early as possible. Work experience is massive for us at School of Thought, and something that we want to kind of give opportunities to young people. If a company take on somebody with work experience, they can pledge a place for that young person for the next 12 months. Keep in contact with them so that in 12 months' time that person is ready to come and work in the place, and they actually know a lot more about the world of work. Gives them sort of like a bit more self-esteem and sort of, as I said before, confidence. It's a big thing that a lot of young people don't have.
And Springboard being appropriate because it's launching this spring.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's what spring is about, new beginnings, and also Springboard is about elevating to, you know, to heights. You know, think about a diver on a springboard jumps up, and you know, it's all about sort of just heading in the right direction, but a new beginning, something that we haven't done before, and something that we're really excited about. So anybody between the age of 16 and 24 who's really interested and wants to join Springboard, if they can contact us at dave@readyforwork.uk or julie@readyforwork.uk, or alternatively go onto our website.
So you put complete diagnostics coding tool into the data link connector there to gain access to the vehicle modules. Ignition on. And then we select into the code. It's recognised the coding tool. It's automatically read the vehicle identification number at the bottom. We can go into service and inspection, and you can actually put assistance and common faults. Click that one. But we can put vehicle scan report, so we can scan, diagnostic scan, press next. I can actually select what I want them to do on the next screen. So you just confirm that. And then it's gone through to our colleagues in the office now. And now in this speech box there, I can just write in that box now what we want them to do. So I should write in the box, write that down there, send that to Calum in the office now, and then it's all done remotely.
Once connected to the vehicle and selecting the right application, we go into the vehicle to do the speed limiter. So again, the customer to turn the ignition on, and it reads the current configuration. No speed limit set, 254 kilometers an hour. Customer's ignition off, and we select the limit to be applied. Various options on this one. This particular customer, 70 mile an hour. Ignition back on the vehicle. And the tool uploads the vehicle configuration with the updated speed limit of 70 mile an hour. At this point, it's important to turn the ignition off with all the doors and bonnet closed. This lets the PCM power down correctly, which is essential for applying the limiter correctly. That part can take a little bit longer than displayed on here, but I'm sure you don't want to wait 7 minutes while we're waiting for that. Once the vehicle's all powered down, we'll then get the customer to put the ignition back on. So it says procedure complete, but we'll get the ignition back on and we'll read the configuration from the vehicle to confirm the limiter has been applied. So ignition back on, and we can see the limit has now been set to 70 mile an hour, all through coding with no additional hardware required. And that's it. That's how easy it is to apply speed limiter by coding using the Complete Diagnostics remote coding tool.